Hello and welcome to St. Lucia Magazine, your weekly roundup of the nation's top stories in education, the economy, infrastructure, agriculture, and more. I'm your host, Nival Auguste. In this edition, St. Lucia's last living World War II veteran passes away, and Port Soufriere welcomes an inaugural call from a luxury cruise ship. The last of St. Lucia's World War II veterans, Mr. Reginald Cherubin, has left behind a sterling legacy of service. Claudia Monlouis tells us more.
The nation is mourning the passing of Mr. Reginald Dominic Cherubin, a distinguished former serviceman of World War II. The former president of the St. Lucia branch of the Royal Commonwealth Ex-Services League, sportsman, community leader, and humanitarian, died on December 31, 2025, at the age of 101. He was the last of the surviving corps of war veterans in St. Lucia. His daughter, Jackie Cherubin Weeks, described his death not only as a moment of loss, but as a celebration of a life defined by service, discipline, and compassion. Born on August 22, 1924 in Grenada, Mr. Cherubin's life of service began at age 17 when he joined the British Army during World War II. His military career took him across the Caribbean, including Guyana, Grenada, and St. Lucia, where he later settled and built a family. According to his daughter, he loved military life and carried the discipline he acquired throughout his life.
Whilst living here, my father was involved in so many things. He was on the board of the Salvation Army for quite a few years. In fact, I've been told that he is the longest living board member of the Salvation Army in the world. So he's very close to the Salvation Army till the day he died. Then he also was very involved with sports, because as a young man he used to play football and represent St. Lucia on the St. Lucia team to go to Martinique to play and that sort of thing. So he was very involved in sports. He was the president of the Tennis Association, Cycling Association, Boxing Association. And as a lot of people recall, the times when they had the cycling around Castries, and he would be the one saying how many laps to go and getting people off the track. And people meet me all the time and say they never forget that about my father. And so, yes, that was a big part of his life. He also did a lot of work in the communities with people, always helping people, you know. The Ex-Service League of St. Lucia, he was also president of that for many years. And he always thought about is helping people. So he had this humanitarian side of him that I would say is his legacy that he's left.
The celebration of life ceremony for Mr. Reginald Dominic Cherubin was held at the Lady of Fatima Catholic Church in La Clery on Friday, January 23, 2026. For the Government Information Service, I am Claudia Monlouis.
Port Soufriere welcomed its first ever visit from the luxury cruise vessel Silver Ray, bringing 728 passengers to the town and signaling a major milestone for St. Lucia's tourism sector. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
Luxury cruise vessel Silver Ray made its inaugural call to Port Soufriere, bringing 728 passengers to the town. The visit marks a significant achievement for Soufriere and is being credited to targeted negotiations, enabling tourism policies, and aggressive destination marketing spearheaded by the Government of St. Lucia, the Soufriere Regional Development Foundation, and St. Lucia Cruise Port. The Member of Parliament for Soufriere Fonsejac, Honorable Hippolyte, says the successful call further cements Port Soufriere's reputation as a port of choice.
It is an honor to have you here with us and your vessel, your management team, and the passengers. This is really a distinct honor. When I always think of Soufrière and our course, I always compare it to your Amalfi course.
As part of the official inaugural ceremony, gifts were exchanged between representatives of the Silver Ray, port authorities, and local stakeholders, symbolizing strengthened partnerships and confidence in Soufrière's tourism potential.
We will come one more time this season, and if I'm not wrong, is already scheduled in the Nova next year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Round of applause, guys. Round of applause. Please.
The inaugural visit comes amid major infrastructure developments taking place at St. Lucia's port facilities. The communications and marketing manager at the St. Lucia Cruise Port, Ms. Raquel Preville, says work continues to ensure the project is completed in a timely manner.
St. Lucia Cruise Port is working on 4 major projects happening at Port Castries as well as in Soufrière, and construction is already underway at Port Castries, and we are working feverishly to ensure that all projects are completed within due course. And we know that with that completion of the projects, we will see a complete transformation to the Soufrière waterfront with the inclusion of a boardwalk as well as the tender jetties, in order to ensure that we can increase the number of cruise calls that will be coming to Soufrière, as well as improving the experience for the passengers that will be coming here as well.
The arrival of the Silver Ray signals growing confidence in St. Lucia's cruise product and highlights the expanding opportunities for economic activity and community benefit in Soufrière and its surrounding communities. From the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Officials in District 4 have launched a community roadshow to introduce the new digital harmonized primary curriculum, a major initiative aimed at modernizing education and preparing students for the demands of a rapidly changing world. Ryan O'Brien has the details.
In an effort to ensure teachers, students, parents, and the wider community understand what the digital harmonized primary curriculum entails, agents from District 4 embarked on a roadshow through several communities throughout the district. The roadshow was launched from the Cicero Secondary School, where Chief Education Officer Beverly Diodoni noted that the occasion marked a new chapter in primary education, not only for District 4, but for St. Lucia and the entire Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS region.
The digital OECS harmonized primary curriculum represents a bold and timely shift in how we prepare our children for the future. Education must grow with the world, and we know that the world is changing. And this curriculum ensures that learning is aligned with real-life skills, digital needs, and the full potential of every learner.
The Chief Education Officer recognizes the world is rapidly changing and suggested St. Lucia's education system should keep up the pace.
The DOHPC reimagines learning with a stronger focus on critical thinking, creativity, inclusion, and problem solving, while ensuring that every child has access to quality education.
Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Digital Transformation, Althea Emmanuel, proclaimed that the harmonized primary curriculum reflects the government's commitment to education reform that responds to the needs of learners, educators, and society.
Education remains one of our most powerful tools for national development, social mobility, economic resilience. As such, reforming what our children learn, is not optional. It is essential.
For Mary George Arle, Education Officer District 4, the roadshow was intended to ensure that teachers at both the primary and secondary levels, students and parents, and the community clearly understand what the DOHPC is all about.
District 4 remains committed to supporting this transformation by fostering collaboration, building capacity, and embracing change in the best interest of our learners. Thank you for your presence and continued partnership as we work together to shape a more relevant, inclusive, and digitally empowered education for our children.
6 schools in District 4 were visited and were treated to addresses from education officials, as well as jingles in English and Creole. From the Ministry of Education and Digital Transformation, I'm Ryan O'Brien.
Still to come, education ministers meet with the school supervision team. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Tracy Pilgrim George, chairperson for Sir Arthur Lewis Community College's activities within the Nobel Laureate Festival 2026. The festival is now in full swing under the theme Celebrating Excellence, Honoring Our Legacy, Shaping Our Tomorrow. SALCC is proud to lead 4 signature activities this year. First, the Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture on Thursday, 22nd January, featuring world-renowned economist Professor Sir Tim Besley, speaking on economic principles for the 21st century. On Friday, 23rd January, we host the Nobel Laureates wreath-laying ceremony with reflections by cultural, scholar, and theatre practitioner Dr. Anthea Octave. Then on Wednesday, 28th January, Writers in the Spotlight celebrate St. Lucian authors, including emerging young writers, giving them a national platform. As we close with the Farmers Market on Saturday, 31st January, highlighting women in agriculture, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. This festival reminds us that legacy is not only honored, it is built. We invite all St. Lucians to come out, participate, and be inspired.
Welcome back. Ministers of Education met with the school supervision team in a strategic orientation exercise aimed at strengthening oversight, enhancing student welfare, and advancing St. Lucia's education reform agenda. More in this report from Amanda Faye Clark.
The ongoing commitment to quality, accountability, and student-centered education was on full display this morning as the Ministers of Education met with the school's supervision team during a strategic orientation session convened by the Office of the Chief Education Officer. The school's supervision team plays a critical role in safeguarding standards across the education system, ensuring that schools are not only well-managed, but equipped to respond to the evolving academic, social, and emotional needs of students. The orientation brought together a cross-section of technical and support units that collectively shape policy execution and on-the-ground impact. Participants included representatives from student welfare, education officers, NELU, CAMDU, the Special Education Unit, the TVET Unit, Counseling Services, the OECS Poll, and the Ministry's Legal Officer. For the Minister for Education, the session was an opportunity to reinforce the importance of strong supervision, data-driven decision-making, and coordinated leadership across the education system.
I believe if you are enthusiastic about what you do, you wake up with a plan, you delegate and you execute, you trust your colleagues and their capacity. Once you've decided they have that capacity, I believe you can achieve. So that is the energy I bring in my work. I will be relying heavily on everybody in this room simply because the evidence shows me that we truly have the best run education system in the OECS, hands down.
Minister Casimir underscored the role of the school supervision team as the backbone of educational quality assurance, emphasizing that effective supervision strengthens classroom delivery, supports educators, and ensures that no learner is left behind. Beyond academic performance, the orientation also highlighted the broader development of learners, particularly the importance of strengthening student welfare, guidance, skills training, safety, and psychosocial support systems. For the Minister with responsibility for early childhood, continuing and special education within the education portfolio, the discussions aligned closely with the national mandate to protect vulnerable students and to promote inclusive, supportive learning environments.
I'm very, not only happy, but I'm impressed with the analysis you've made of your unit, the achievements you've made, and where you want to see your unit. I cannot promise you that I will give you everything, but I can promise you that I will give you my very best.
Minister Butcher reinforced the need for strong interagency collaboration, particularly in addressing the social and emotional factors that affect student performance and overall well-being. The orientation served as both a strategic reset and a reaffirmation of shared responsibility, positioning the school supervision team as a unifying force within the ministry's broader education transformation agenda. As St. Lucia continues to advance education reform, today's engagement sends a clear message. Effective supervision, strong leadership, and student-centered policy remain central to building a resilient and future-ready education system for the country. For the Ministry of Education, this is Amanda Fee Clark.
The New Beginnings Transit Home celebrated 15 years, honoring caregivers for their dedication to supporting vulnerable children. More in this report.
Every calm response teaches a child that safety is possible.
For 15 years, the New Beginnings Transit Home, an institution managed by the Ministry of Equity, Labor, Gender, Elderly Affairs, Social Justice and Consumer Welfare, has provided safety, care and stability for children navigating difficult transitions. Behind that mission is a team of caregivers whose work is often quiet but deeply impactful. On January 16, those caregivers were placed firmly in the spotlight as staff of the transit home were treated to a special luncheon at the Bellevue Hotel, an intentional gesture designed to make them feel valued, appreciated and recognized for their unwavering commitment.
The transit home is celebrating 15th year anniversary. That's on the 18th actually, but we have the opportunity to come together to have an early celebration because we got a very wonderful invitation from the Bellevue Hotel for lunch and to celebrate our staff and the hard work that they're doing.
Francis says the occasion was about acknowledging the people who show up every day for the children, often under demanding circumstances.
We don't just receive, we want to say thank you. And they are the ones who make things possible for us, supporting the ministry in what we are doing.
She noted that partnerships with the private sector have played a vital role in uplifting both staff and residents of the home.
Without your corporate partners and persons helping, we cannot do everything on our own, and the ministry cannot do everything on their own. So they coming in and helping us bring this love and cheer to our children. It is, I don't know if without them, it would not have been so merry.
Along with the Bellevue Hotel, some of the more notable sponsors are Windjammer Landing, Invest St. Lucia, and Manny's Bakery, to name a few, each providing support in their own unique way. For the Bellevue Hotel, the gesture was deliberate, recognizing that caring for the caregivers is just as important as supporting the institution itself.
Bellevue Hotel, like you said, has always been a property that, looks forward to giving back to the community that we serve in. As you could see, we're probably one of the most community-centered hotels you would find in St. Lucia, and it's fitting that we do our part. It's like a duty, a call of duty, not just a corporate responsibility, but a call of duty. Just going there and understanding, what these children are going through. And the transition that they're going through was very heartwarming to us to be a part of that opportunity to bring joy to them.
LaForce added that the partnership will not end here.
Doing it for the first time, I can tell you it won't be the last time because it's meaningful, and I think for us that sort of opportunity creates a lifelong change for somebody. Whether we can impact one, two, or all, we realize there's a change that we can make. with the transit home.
As the transit home marks 15 years of service, newly appointed Minister for Equity, Honorable Emma Hippolyte, has just wrapped up a familiarization visit to the institution, commending staff for their tireless effort at helping to nurture and protect some of the nation's most vulnerable young people, and vowing to provide all available resources to the institution as it seeks to meet its mandate.
Transit home, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. I will continue to do all I can to support you.
The 15-year milestone celebration reinforces a powerful truth that strong institutions are built not only on policy and structure, but on people who feel supported, appreciated, and valued.
Thank you.
Coming up next, La Fag Wellness Center reopens.
Solve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all bloodshed. Leave and long leave. You see the violence thing.
Make the change.
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 Make a change.
Make the change.
Make the change.
End the gun violence now.
Just please give life a chance. Let's stop the violence. Oh.
A message from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, and Empowerment.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with PAHO, has launched training workshops for community focal persons and 311 call center staff to strengthen St. Lucia's event-based surveillance system. Fennell Neptune reports.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition recently implemented the Event-Based Surveillance EBS system, which is a critical strategy to enhance the rapid detection, assessment, and response to new and emerging public health threats. In light of this, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization PAHO, is conducting capacity-building workshops with community focal persons and 311 call center personnel to better familiarize them with the event-based surveillance system. The first training session brought together community focal persons, which included representatives from Red Cross, National Emergency Management Organization NEMO, and community disaster groups, to name a few. Through presentations and discussions, participants learned about the identification of diseases and public health events, establishment of a community-based surveillance structure, reporting and investigating of public health events, and supervising a community-based surveillance structure. National epidemiologist Dr. Michel Fassois says it is her hope that participants will be better equipped to conduct surveillance of emerging health threats and to facilitate quicker and more effective responses in their respective communities.
These are individuals who live in the communities. They know best these communities, and so they form now part of our national surveillance system, whereby we train them, we educate them on what's happening in St. Lucia, and they in return, knowing their communities in that level of detail, they come back and let us know what is happening in their communities. They are best placed to do so. They know their communities intimately, they know their people intimately, and they are able to tell us what they are seeing on the ground. Increases in fever and rash, increases in joint pains, sudden deaths, death of animals that is unexpected. So these are the things that we are training them to look for and report to us. And in return, of course, we work closely with them, explaining to them our system and how they form part of it.
PAHO Country Program Specialist Fiona Anthony expressed appreciation for the community focal persons' engagement in this training, as they are essential part of the success of the event-based surveillance system.
I trust that you will have a rewarding, informative and enjoyable experience during this training, and we are thankful to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, St. Lucia, for convening this training and for leading the way regionally in events-based surveillance. PAHO remains committed to supporting the Ministry in all efforts to strengthen surveillance systems in St. Lucia.
In the coming week, 311 call center personnel will also get trained on the EBS system. The event-based surveillance system training is being funded by the Pandemic Fund project. Reporting from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Fennell Neptune.
The La Fag Wellness Center reopened with an upgraded facility hosting a health fair, offering free screenings and expanded services to the community. Bonica McCoy has the details.
The Lafargue Wellness Center recently hosted an open day and health fair following the completion of refurbishment and upgrade works at the facility. The event formed one of the main activities commemorating the center's reopening and underscored the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition's commitment to improving access to quality primary healthcare services. Residents from Lafargue and surrounding communities benefited from a range of free health services offered during the open day. These included cervical cancer screening and breast examinations, with emphasis placed on early detection, prevention, and health education. Kadia Harrison, the community health nurse attached to the Lafargue Wellness Center, highlighted the critical role of early detection in improving health outcomes, particularly in the management of cancer.
Early detection is paramount for you to improve your likelihood of survival in the event that you are diagnosed and need management of cancer. And we also educating our public, because education is basically the only key to change any situation that you're currently in. So we're educating our public on how to do their own self-exam, how to identify signs and symptoms that they need urgent medical attention, and the services that we offer, when we do offer it, and how often they can access the service.
Nurse Harrison also emphasized on the significance of public education as a key driver of positive health behavior change, noting that the open day and health fair offered valuable opportunities to equip individuals with essential knowledge.
We have environmental health, we have agriculture, we have Bureau of Health, we have dental, nutrition, we also have universal health care representing, and universal health care predominantly is the driving force to our free PSAs, our free antenatal cares, the investigation required for a pregnant mother and her growing fetus. We have also mental health, because we know whichever aspect of life, whatever situation that you encounter, mental health is always an aspect that will be affected. So we have mental health on board. We have substance abuse, because in our society we lean more to alcohol as a coping mechanism. So today we are educating our public on better ways to cope with situations that we encounter on a daily basis.
As part of efforts to improve accessibility, the Lafargue Wellness Center has also extended its operating hours. In addition to regular services offered Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., the center will now provide services on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., further enhancing convenience for residents. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Onika McCoy reporting.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of St. Lucia Magazine. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to this production: the National Television Network, the GIS team, and the communications officers across government ministries. Thank you for watching NCN Channel 122 and following the official social media platforms of the Government of St. Lucia. I am Nipalo Geist. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged as we continue tracking St. Lucia's progress.